Hey, I want to talk to you today about something that I've noticed and you may have noticed as well. And that is that Scrum is hugely popular. There's a big shock, isn't it? No, but what I really wanted to talk with you about is that while Scrum is hugely popular, it's not the only way. And I want you to open your minds to doing things other than Scrum. But we can't do anything but Scrum because if we were changing Scrum, we're doing Scrum but. Shut up, okay? Really. Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland made it up. They made it up, okay? It works really well, I have to admit. But it doesn't work everywhere all the time. And sometimes it doesn't work in an enterprise organization very well because we don't have things like a product owner for your IT system. Not in the way that you have a product owner in a software company. Software company, product owner, job title. That's it. I mean, the product line is the software and the product owner owns the product. That's it, right? In an IT organization within a service or product delivery company, that title doesn't always exist. And if it does, it's not as powerful as the product owner role is in a software company. So let's take that away and not think about it anymore. Okay? Let's think about Agile. Where did the whole concept come from, right? Well, the Agile Manifesto is one place that people point back to. But the Agile Manifesto was just 17 guys sitting around in Snowbird sharing things that they had in common, that they were already doing. Where did they get those ideas? Lean. Yeah, look at it. Talk to the guys. I have. Listen to my podcasts where I'm interviewing them. They're all people who've studied Lean. And at the time when the manifesto came out, they were all deep into Lean. Lean was not developed for software development. It was developed for manufacturing environment. So it doesn't perfectly fit, right? There's a lot of things in Lean that just don't quite mesh with software development, and thus we've created Agile. But Agile, I love to make my own food, to cook original food. And when I start into a new ethnicity, I love to just cook like the most fundamental foods of that ethnicity from scratch. Get the ingredients and go back to the basics and figure out all the details of how does it work and why is this food, why does it taste that way and how is it developed, what's the history behind it. I'm that way. That's the way I am. So I'm sharing it with you. So I look at Agile and I go, how did this come up? The Lean. So people were studying Lean at the time. So let's talk about Lean for a minute. So I'm going to keep this really short. That means I only have 2 minutes to talk about Lean, which means I'll have to come back to it. Behind me here is a little map of Lean. Can you see it better? I hope you can. Oh, look at that. It may be backwards. I can't really tell. So I'm recording this on my iPhone, and I'm thinking that the words are backwards. If they are, this is going to be fun. What this says is identify value. So this is kind of where you come in if you're going to start a Lean project. You start there. Start. But there's no stopping. You identify what's the value, and this is the value to our customer. And then you map the value stream. We can talk about what that means, but essentially it's looking at your entire organizational structure, not just a little piece of it, looking at your whole organization and saying, in all of the things that we do in here, which ones of those provide value and which ones don't. Get rid of the ones that don't, keep the ones that do. That's mapping the value stream. Creating flow is creating this in the Lean manufacturing world, it's creating the flow of product from raw materials to on the shelf, not just through manufacture, but all the way to the shelf even, which is hard to do, and Toyota doesn't even do it in the Toyota way that they use. But the idea and the way we express it in Agile is through Kanban, is through Scrum and the Scrum board, right? Ready, doing, done kind of thing. That's a Kanban approach, which Kanban is actually a flow term. creating flow. It's actually part of flow and pull. Establishing pull is rather than pushing materials onto the next station, in Lean they pull, right? So I need more, and they pull. They need more pulled in. We do this in Agile by having story cards that are in the backlog that we don't assign to anyone until they're ready to do it, and then they pull it. Okay? Seeking perfection. This is the idea that we want to have done, 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 right? We want to have the work completely finished at the end of an iteration so that it can go to production. That's our perfection that we're looking for. 0 defects, right? 0 defects. And then it comes back to identifying value. So you sought perfection, you've released, now we go back, we talk to our customer, we identify more value. Same thing. So you can see how this and Agile kind of go hand in hand. You might not have known this history piece of it, but this is where Agile came from. It's from these Lean concepts. And if you go to lean.org, you'll see this drawing. This is actually where I copied it from. You'll see this little drawing right there on the page. So take a look at it, learn a little bit about Lean. I'll talk some more about Lean. We'll probably walk through all of these things so that we can figure out how we can do Agile better. One thing to remember, one of the fundamental tenets of Scrum itself, right? Scrum, the one that everyone says you can't do Scrum, you can't change Scrum because you're doing Scrum, but one of the fundamental tenets of Scrum is inspect and adapt. Not just your code, but the process. When was the last time you inspected and adapted Scrum?